let's do it this show first.
We're going to get the assholery out of the way?
Yes.
A tight 1 hour asshole show.
Yes. Ready? I think we're recording already.
All right.
So we can start whenever.
Assholes.
Whenever I'm going to put this aside.
Put it to the side. Okay.
And so we're going to do the
I
other
kind
show
of want to
first.
sober up a little bit for that show.
Which show?
For that show.
Which show?
That show.
Oh, the role-playing show.
Yes,
You're pointing to the role-playing character.
Okay. Sorry.
Hello? Hello.
Hi.
You want to sober up for that show?
Yeah.
While drinking a Cuba Libre?
Well,
Okay. Welcome to Doomsday A Doopy Doo. Another episode. And, okay. We're going to do this show first this time. I want to ask you a question. Well, hi, Chris.
hi, Nick.
How you doing?
I'm great. Yeah, I'm
Good,
doing
good,
okay. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm not doing as good as you are. I'm trying to catch up.
Okay.
I'll get there.
I'm going to go slow.
Go slow. I missed happy hour at Chris's house. And yeah, I was in traffic.
A lot of snuffleupagus.
Snuffleupagus. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Me neither.
Me either.
Anyways. Yes. How are you?
I'm good. We're back at that.
Rocking 4th of July party. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you could be there.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a good time.
It was a good time.
We blew stuff up.
Yes.
We did blow some stuff up, yeah.
Yes.
I'm still picking stuff up out of the street.
What about the guy's tree across the yard?
He's okay. He's okay. My brother-in-law and I went and picked all the bits and pieces out of the yard.
Out of that
Actually,
guy's
I shouldn't
yard?
say me. He did. He went and he's very conscientious.
Chris tried to light large rockets off of a 2 1x3s.
Yeah, they were like
They were like what are they called when you're trying to lay sheetrock up against a concrete wall?
it was
They're
like a piece of deck, like a
strips of,
decking though, like a piece of like a attic decking. It was like
Yeah.
you said, it was like 1 inch by whatever. Yeah.
by 3 inches wide. That's all it was. And you tried to make a V out of them
Yeah, I tried a couple
without
times.
without any fasteners whatsoever. You just thought, I don't know.
I held them together.
You completely lost all grasp of physics. Would you have a cardboard box on bracing the two of it?
I don't think it was
up?
cardboard. I think it
It was something holding these two pieces of 1x3 that you put in a V, held in a V, put the rocket down, lit it, let go of the boards. Of course, then they flattened out. That's the part that I was surprised you didn't know was going to happen.
Wow. It's alcoholic engineering though. At that point, you're so drunk. You're like, I mean, I would say the V is sound if it's nailed together, and then you maintain the V. It's sound.
Well, yeah,
it's a
but
sound design.
If you take two random scraps of 1x3,
Well, yeah. If you don't nail them together and you're holding them and then you're running,
you hold them, and then let go of them and run away. At that point, the wood is subject to gravity.
yeah.
And so everything starts to collapse as the rocket goes off and it ends up in the tree across the street.
Of course.
At which point it blows up.
I
really thought...
We've gotten a lot of rain, though, at least, so that's a good thing.
I wasn't sure. I was like, either that tree's going to start burning. And I was trying to figure out what we were going to do if that happened. I was like, looking around for a hose. Then I said, the guy's going to come out and kill us. Or just start screaming at us, or he's going to call the cops or something.
They were on vacation, though. So
they were on vacation, so you knew it was safe to blow up their trees.
Well, no, I didn't. Yeah.
Hopefully they're not listening to this, because that means they didn't even know.
No, they didn't know I intended to launch a firework into their tree.
You didn't intend to do it. I wouldn't say you intended.
Well, because after that, I tried to just lay the board down as like a platform to launch off
Right,
of.
you gave up on the V, and then you just thought a flat piece of single 1x3.
Yep. And then I propped it up under the other 1x3. Yeah, I was trying to evolve, but it never really.
I don't know what you were thinking.
No, I was drunk. I wasn't thinking.
Then my Brooklyn fireworks acumen kicked in, and we got the Lowe's bucket and the wiffle ball bat.
Yes.
And I took the big screwdriver and I gouged the end out. An instant
and most of the
launch.
rockets flew out. Some of them just stayed. The first two kind of stayed.
No, they didn't. Not in the wiffle ball bat. Those are the ones you stuck in the ground. Oh, that's right. You also stuck.
Well, I held them. I held them too.
You did hold one?
I held one. Yeah.
I missed that. I wish I saw
but it singed my.
It did.
Yeah, it's where the redneck in me kicks in. It's like fireworks, explosives, drinking, barbecuing, and you're at the end of the night.
What was the name of that? Was it Florida Crack?
Florida Cracker.
Florida Cracker.
Yeah.
What was the name of that?
Cigar
Roman
City
candle?
Brewing. Yeah. No, that was.
That was a beer we were drinking.
Florida Cracker. And my brother-in-law was like, he's Yeah, he's
our
totally
Florida cracker.
Florida cracker, yeah. So, yeah.
So that was a lot. What I'm getting at is that it was a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
before that, it was awesome. And those awesome sausages were freaking great. The food was good. It was a good time.
It was
Good booze, good everything.
Hopefully we'll get you guys back next year.
Yes.
We didn't scare you off with the snuffleupagus.
I take more than that to scare me off.
Good. Okay, good.
All right. So, excuse me. I don't know if I have a nasal drip, a cold, an allergy. I don't know.
Allergies are going. I'm feeling the allergies like
Are you?
like a long time, like longer than normal for the summer. Like you have a period in the middle of the summer where you have nothing, and then you get it again at the end. But I don't feel like I've had that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's the kind of the middle. It's kind of not. Usually, I don't have allergies at this point, which makes me think that because this James went to that day camp,
Yeah.
so maybe he brought home.
Oh yeah.
You know, those things are petri dishes of fucking.
Yeah, but we sound like two.
I swear, fucking the CIA, fucking plants.
It's like a biological warfare.
Well, no, yeah, they just test shit out.
And then they do a drip on all the kids, and they capture
They
it.
drip
and
the kids, and then they bring, and then they could.
Then they drop that
mass
on,
infect
like drop it on a
families
round and kill them.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, like little bombs.
We sound like totally like two middle-aged guys. Like, oh, I'm a little phlegmy. Oh, my nose.
Yeah, I know. Very
I'm a clump.
like freaking Woody Allen over here.
They don't fucking care.
But now, I don't know when if we should release this second, or if I think we should still release. I think we got to stick with the release schedule. Next show should be
the RPG. Yeah,
But this one then is going to be a little dated because I have to bring this up. I thought this was fucking hilarious. You know those flash mobs, right?
mm-hmm.
That go on. So a guy on Twitter. Are you going Area 51?
Am I going to?
Yes.
Not that I hadn't planned on it. Why? Is there something I'm missing?
Well, I have to fix this. No, well, yeah, possibly. I don't know. I don't know if we'll be missing something. I thought this was hilarious. It's a meme that was going on right now. So by the time people listen to this, it's gonna say, memes last like 3 hours.
Yeah, 5 seconds.
So I think it was somebody on Twitter who said, let's meet at Area 51 on September 20th, and let's get us some aliens. And he said we could use Naruto running to outrun the bullets. Naruto being the anime.
Okay.
Naruto.
Okay.
The guy with the headband who runs fast in Japanese anime, outruns bullets. And, dude, I think everybody's going.
Because what? Because of a meme?
Well, he suggested it, and it took off. It went viral. Like hundreds of thousands of people we're going, and they're drawing up plans, and they have like Redditors coming from the Northwest, and the plebes are coming from the normies and the Chads and the Naruto runners, and I think people are going to show up.
Okay.
You're not going to go?
Are we going to go and you want to broadcast from there?
Go to Area 51 on September 20th and sit there to see who shows up?
Sure. Can we do
You think they could outrun the bullets?
Bullets from who, though?
How many people do you think will show up? You think people will show up, or you think it's just a meme that's going to die?
I think...
Let's call it right now, because
some people might show up.
By the time this comes out, we'll have a good idea if it's going to... Unless it gets revived.
Well, no, but it's
like
July. You're talking
1st.
About September. If we put this out, it'll be before.
Yeah, it will be before, but the meme may be old news.
I don't know if there's going to be bullets, because I've driven, like... A friend of mine and I ended up...
they're planning on raiding it.
Raining bullets?
Raiding
it.
Yes, they're drawing up plans. They're drawing up, like, you Photoshop a picture, or you use Sketch or one of those meme things, and they have satellite imagery of Area 51 and all different methods of attack. One guy brought up the point that the Redditors should take this mountain up on the west. We can get the high ground.
But wait a minute. So they went on Google Maps and they pulled up a map of Area 51.
Yes.
You can't pull up a map of Disney World. So if Area 51 was so secret,
well, no, it's like
why would you be able to pull it up?
It's not. No, it's a map of Area 50. I mean, it's not a map,
but it is. It's satellite imagery. It's
satellite imagery from a distance that, like the same ones you never saw on those unsolved mystery TV shows.
Yeah,
those same ones.
I don't know.
And they're drawing, like, who's coming from the north and who's coming from the west, and the Chads and the Kyles and the...
Anybody
normies. We send the normies in first, and the furries, followed by the furries.
But the furries go because nobody. The furries
right.
are just
I think the furries are on the front line, followed by the normies.
They're
and then they
get
get flanked by the chads and the plebes.
Yep.
The Naruto guys come like towards the end.
They're going to dodge the remaining bullets.
They're dodging the remaining bullets.
And if they can
on the mountaintops, they're all the Redditors.
The Redditors. Because they're going to
they want the high ground.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
They always have the moral high ground. So
well, no, I mean, like if you watch Star Wars, the high ground wins all the time.
Yeah, of course. But, yeah. So I don't know. That'll be...
But the question is...
What are they going to do when they raid it and there's nothing there?
The question is it could be a meme, right? Because it could be just a complete fucking joke, right? It could just be like, all right, yeah, whatever, and we'll laugh about it for half a day and it'll be over. Or shit has happened like that, like on Facebook. Oh, meet here, and all of a sudden 300 people show up. Like, what if that happens?
Yeah.
What happens if 10,000 people show up?
I mean, I've been...
And raid Area 51.
I've been around that area. There's nothing around that area in Arizona. I mean, you have Roswell.
They have the dry lake there, right?
But there's really not a lot immediately around that area.
Yeah, no, it's a track.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, where's Burning Man take place?
That's
also in the middle of nowhere, isn't it?
Pretty much is. I don't know if it's New Mexico or if it's Arizona, but yeah, I don't know.
It's like somewhere in that desert.
Well, there's a couple places. I saw some guys that went to some town that sprung up in the middle of the desert that was like a lawless town, and they were investigating it. And it was a bunch of hippies like established this fucking weird...
Like what? What are you talking about? Wild, wild country? Well, that was Oregon, wasn't it?
No, but this was more like in the desert. Like you're in the middle of the desert and there's all this shit that all these crazy hippies built. Like here's a mountain of doll arms. Here's like it was weird, really weird. Just, crazy, like deadhead, like far and like way gone. That. Yeah. I'm trying to remember.
That was in the
I think it was on Vice. I saw it. I think I watched it on Vice.
You watch a lot of Vice. What is Vice?
Vice TV is like all the kind of more subvertive programming, more like off the beaten track shit,
Subvertive sounds good.
It's not that good.
It's not that. It's not subvertive. Not
well. They think they're being subvertive, but it's like one of those.
The second you say you're being subvertive, you're not.
You're not. You're right. It's the whole thing. Yeah. You're. It's the cool kid. It's the hipster mentality. Like, all right, well, fuck you. It's popular, and I don't like it because it's popular, whether it's.
That's like what you have to
legitimately good or not.
Cobain.
Well, okay. And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, at my house at happy hour, I beat the shit out of Kurt Cobain.
You did?
A couple good 2.5 hours. You weren't even there to
I wasn't even there to defend him.
No, he didn't. He couldn't put his hands up. He took a lot of shots. His nose is like a piece of cauliflower.
No one said anything about Kevin Smith?
I said, well, he tried to compare Kurt Cobain to Kevin Smith.
No, I didn't. No, God, I didn't. I just said Kurt Cobain is my Kevin Smith.
Because Kevin Smith is good to his fans and Kurt Cobain wasn't. So
Kevin Smith is good to his fans?
He's very good to his fans.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, I wouldn't know.
And Kurt Cobain is shitty to his fans. You can't even compare. The two don't. You mean Kurt Cobain couldn't hold Kevin Smith?
Kurt Cobain didn't seem like he wanted fans.
He didn't. Yeah. But then he was famous no matter what he said, and he had fans no matter what he said.
No matter
and he had a responsibility. No, it does. He has a responsibility.
It bothered him a lot. That's what.
I know.
And he wrote songs about it.
He didn't want responsibility, but yet he had it.
He didn't want responsibility. He didn't want the. Well, I don't know if he didn't want the fame. Maybe he did. Maybe.
Are we going to go into
I think he did want the fame, but he
bitched about Nirvana every fucking show for the past 3 shows.
No, he didn't.
We've talked about Star Wars and Nirvana every single
and Rocky.
And we talked about Rocky a lot. My brother-in-law said we've done the Rocky show already.
We haven't even scratched the surface.
That's what I said.
Rocky.
You don't even know.
We haven't even scratched the surface of Rocky.
But you know what? Kurt Cobain's responsibility, he had a responsibility to his daughter.
I want to know because... I'll be honest. Maybe I'm bringing this up because I was sitting in traffic. If we want to call it driving, I was sitting in traffic.
Yeah.
And I don't know why when are we as a people going to rise against and just say enough is enough? How is it that, how old is the Verrazano Bridge? 100 years old. It's approaching 100 years
Probably,
old, right?
Yeah, most
Maybe
of those
80,
bridges
90 years
most
old.
of those bridges are close to 100 years old. Maybe the GW would be the youngest bridge.
I mean, it's older than 100 years.
The Brooklyn Bridge.
The Brooklyn Bridge is 130 something.
I think the Brooklyn Bridge is like 20 something. Yeah, so
Yeah. No. Brooklyn Bridge is over 100 years old. Because I was at the 100-year-old centennial. I was at the centennial fireworks celebration with my grandfather. I was a kid. Then there was recently the 125th, I think. So I think it's
what about the
past
Triborough Bridge? How old is the Triborough
that. Who
Bridge?
fuck cares about the Triborough Bridge?
I hear it about on the fucking traffic reports all the time now. It's
Well, I
terrible
mean,
over there.
and that's the other thing. You listen to the traffic report. I'm sitting in my car, and he's basically just saying, jammed. He's just thinking of different words for saying traffic.
Yeah, no,
It's like jammed. Give me some other words.
yeah,
Congested,
strapped.
delays, 60-minute delays. Tunnel.
They're
Lincoln
choked.
Tunnel.
They're choked.
Lincoln Tunnel outbound, 60-minute delay. Lincoln Tunnel inbound, 60-minute delay. Outbound, double that. He said. He just said that in passing. So think about that.
But that's
for a
easy
second.
because he's not sitting in that fucking traffic.
No, but think about that for a second. Not to get through the tunnel. It's a 2-hour delay to get through the tunnel.
out of the tunnel.
To exit the city into New Jersey through the Lincoln Tunnel is 2-hour delay.
Yeah.
So it's the time that you would normally take to travel it plus 2 hours.
Yeah.
And he just said it in passing. He was just like a minute. He said an hour inbound. So if you're going into the city, it's an hour delay. So it's not just a one-way thing. So even an hour delay. What? Like usually a 10-minute delay, 15-minute delay.
So whatever
not
else,
here.
you could be driving for an extra 45 minutes after that.
Yeah, like that 8
That's a
o'clock.
2-hour
You know that
ride.
8 o'clock dinner that you had that you left.
Forget about
at
it.
6 o'clock.
Forget about it.
And you're only an hour away. You're late now.
Yeah.
Like you're an hour away. You left 2 hours early, but you're late. And that's if you're going in. If you were going out of the city, you're 2 hours. You're over an hour late.
Yeah.
Fuck it. And we just yay.
Yeah, but he's sitting in a
And
studio.
then I'm wondering what's his job like, because he's just I could do that at 5 o'clock every day. I'll just say, Triborough's jammed, the Verrazano's jammed, the Lincoln Tunnel's jammed, the Holland Tunnel's jammed. I'll just run through the whole thing. Belt Parkway eastbound is bumper to bumper.
The BQE,
westbound is bumper to
BQE
bumper.
is also delayed.
The BQE,
The LIE,
the BQE,
all
don't even
delays on the
bother.
LA, fuck yourself.
LIE,
You're screwed.
you just don't even go.
Yeah, LaGuardia, forget about it.
And it's basically just the entire city.
Yeah.
But anyway, so while I'm sitting in this, and I guess we do it for what, money? I guess that's what we do it for.
I mean, you make New York money, I guess. You work in New York.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't just me. It was me and the other millions of people that were sitting in it. And I'm like looking at us like we're sheep. Or sheep, not even like, I don't know. It feels lousy. But anyway, nobody cares about us. And I'm sitting in the traffic, and I said, you know what? Fucking Chris. I put Nirvana on. I put the MTV Unplugged album, and I listened to it from start to finish. Now, you're saying in the video version, there's more to it. Now, I haven't seen the video version. Where did you see the video version? Because I'm not even sure where to get it. We have the DVD or something?
Probably on
I think I
looked at. I watched it on YouTube.
It's on YouTube, the whole thing?
Yeah. Everything's on YouTube. Dude. Everything is on YouTube.
Because I remember watching that thing live, MTV. It was just like when they released it. It was it was a premiere or whatever. I watched it when it first came out. Something on my mic. That's what it sounded like, right?
Yeah.
It sounded like a dog.
I just wanted to add to it.
Okay. People are gonna think, what the hell we did?
They should think, what the fuck?
I guess. So I listened to it start to finish. I still think it's brilliant. I don't know what the freak you're talking about.
Okay. I mean,
can you give me an example of what was said?
I think
you said he treated his fans like
disrespectfully.
crap.
There's a point where they're
the
yelling
whole show.
out songs to play, and he's basically telling him to shut the fuck up.
When's that?
That's towards the end, probably 2 songs from the end of it. They're yelling stuff out. They're excited that he's there. He's quiet and he's talking to Dave and he's talking to Chris and he's like, "Yeah, what do you guys want to play? What do you want to play? Yeah, we're gonna do this, And he's got his pretentious. He's got his pretentious fucking song list in his head set up, and there are fans of his,
right,
who are not corporate motherfuckers or whatever.
Is this encore? Is this after when he came back? Or
it's
this
part of the recorded piece. And he basically tells them to shut the fuck up.
He says, shut the fuck up?
Yeah. And he's I'm going to play what I want to play. And he plays what he wants to play.
Okay.
And I don't think he says shut the fuck up, but he
didn't say shut the fuck up?
There's an exchange there where it's more or less that.
You're not talking about when he told Dave Grohl to shut up.
No. Maybe it was Dave. Maybe I misheard it. But
He told Dave to shut up in that.
And what was Dave saying to him?
He said he was talking about a song that he screws up all the time. Mm-hmm. And Dave goes, which one? And he goes, shut up.
Because he's basically, Dave's implication.
And then he goes, what? He goes, what? You don't know which song I screw up? And then Dave goes, yeah, he only screws up one song.
Yeah, because you fuck them all up. But whatever, you hide it better.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I misheard it, but I don't know. There's just other.
Yeah, but to say something like that and then not. Be able to back it up with some.
So there's 2 ways you can look at that.
What about what Kevin Smith did to Adam Carolla during?
Fuck Adam. To be honest with you, Adam Carolla's a fucking prick to begin with. So right off the bat,
every time. Listen, you can't like Adam Carolla and Kevin Smith.
But it's not though. I liked Adam Carolla when he was on Love Lines with Dr. Drew.
Did you hear the show?
But he got too egotistical for Dr. Drew.
Did you hear what he does shows? He still does shows with Dr. Drew. Did you listen to the show with Adam Carolla and Kevin Smith?
Which show? For who?
On Adam Carolla's show.
No, I don't think I listened to it. Is it recent? You should listen to it. Is it recent?
You should listen to it and then tell me what you think of Kevin Smith. He came off like an ass.
Okay.
Big time.
I'll listen to it.
Big time. Completely ruining deals and going behind people's backs and not returning phone calls, and then Adam reaching out and him not calling, and then finding out that the reason that Kevin Smith, that he didn't call back, it was because his assistant contacted his assistant, and Kevin felt that he should be contacting him directly because after all, he's Kevin fucking Smith. Really? Fucking yeah. You should listen to that. You should listen to that episode. Anyway.
I'll check it out. And it's on Adam Carolla's show.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it was edited. Is that what you're gonna say?
No.
Could be.
I'm not saying that, but I mean, everybody has their own perspective.
Totally possible. But listen, if you're gonna make fun of Kurt Cobain,
I'm not making fun of Kurt Cobain, but I'm being
take a couple of shots too.
What you don't like though is that I'm being critical of Kurt Cobain.
What do you mean?
I'm not making fun of him because you know what? There's 2 ways to listen to that show. There is a part of it that he has an amazing taste in music, but there's also a superiority piece there that I sense through the whole thing.
Yeah,
that sounds like I'm smarter than all you people. I'm more talented than all you people.
I think
I know better than you guys, and I don't like that.
I think that I can understand that. I think that. I think that the type of music that they played, there were other bands playing. Mm-hmm. And those bands were good. And if you listen to those bands, you would realize, you would hear where Nirvana got its sound from, really. Mm-hmm. If you listen to the Meat Puppets, if you listen to the Vaselines, which were bands that they covered all the time. And that's the reason they covered them, I think, anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, the second Meat Puppets album sounds like a Nirvana album. It really does. When they recorded Bleach, and then they, got to record Nevermind. When I keep saying when they reached that level, when Smells Like Teen Spirit came out with that MTV video, that one song all of a sudden made them popular, right? Now, all that music, the Meat Puppets, the Vaselines, the bands that he played, I mean, even Bowie, that's rebellious, because I'm going to the bands that he covered in that particular album, the MTV Unplugged album.
Yeah, and Bowie doesn't need Kurt Cobain to make him rebellious. Bowie is rebellious.
No, of course
on
not.
His own.
Right. Yeah. But if you compared David Bowie's attitude to Kurt Cobain's, they're still a little. I think they're a little similar. And I'm not saying that. I'm not comparing the two because they're kind of apples and oranges a little bit. Bowie obviously is a genius in his own right, but I'm just saying that when he reached that level of stardom, which Smells Like Teen Spirit, it bothered him because that wasn't what the band was. The band was about rebellion. It was about not being famous.
Okay.
So that's what Nirvana was. It was that whole grunge movement is grunge. It's an anti-establishment. The 90s was very much, if you remember, was very much like that. But that was kind of the problem, is that the 90s had this rebellious attitude a little bit. And then here was this music that was coming up. And then here was this little poppy sounding. It Smells Like Teen Spirit was more poppy sounding than some of the other grunge. Yeah. And even if you listen to the album, it almost doesn't fit in the album. It's its own sound a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think he was like, well, he felt, I think, this is complete theory, obviously. I don't think that he's ever said any of this stuff. I think he felt almost guilty, or felt, why are we famous? Because of this one stupid fucking song. And now all of a sudden people are singing the song. They don't even know what the fuck it means. They're everything that the band stands for, this whole music movement that's taking place, these people that are now buying this and coming to these shows, and all of a sudden people are kissing my ass, and whereas before they were treating me like shit, and all of a sudden I'm this person, and everyone's, and why? I this isn't fair to everybody else. It isn't fair to this art form a little bit. Okay. Mm-hmm. But then also tied to that is this double-edged sword where he also is like, fuck, I'm rich. I'm famous. He has all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. And to me, I think I hear it in some of his songs where you're talking about mocking fans. And this is where I kind of think it comes from. And I think it bothers him. It bothered him. He's dead. Spoilers. But he, and I think that he was very conflicted about it and felt very strange about it. If you listen to Dumb, if you listen to All Apologies, I think there's words in there, I wish I was like you, more easily amused. Mm-hmm.
But that also comes across as very
I like
superior.
You better than me.
But that also comes across as
what do
very
I
superior,
do? He goes, what do I do?
But hold on.
But he's throwing it out there. For you to hear it.
I feel the lyrics.
And then imagine
he's talented, dude. But when he says, "I wish I was like you, easily amused,"
very good.
But it's also very condescending to say, "I'm superior to you because I'm enlightened and you're not. I'm smart and you're stupid." And
then something Master Salt. Everything's my fault.
Yeah, it's all my fault. Whatever. And no,
but he's also saying like I feel this way, but I shouldn't.
But he's not the first person.
And he's singing that.
But he's not the first person to be in that position.
Of course not. No.
And be like you said. You mentioned
he's
Bowie.
His own person. He had his own.
Bowie's thing was the minute you got into Bowie's thing, he evolved to the next thing.
Bowie was that way.
Beck was the same way. Beck had this huge album, and it's not the same as Nirvana, true, but Mellow Gold is an amazing album in and of itself. But
Jeff Beck or Beck?
Beck, not Jeff Beck. Beck evolved to every album, and he was different in every single album. He was playing with something different.
Yeah, some good bands, a lot of good bands like that.
And you have to say, you know what? That's great. Too. You're into this. You know what? I have an opportunity to entertain you. I have an opportunity to educate you. And you know what? It's easy for me to say, I'm smart and you're stupid. Okay, my responsibility as the smart one in the relationship is to say, let me take you someplace that you're not going to normally go. And he did a little bit of that. Like you said.
A lot of that.
He did some of it.
But he did a lot of that.
But, and maybe it's the way that...
He covered a lot of bands.
No, including Bowie, right? But
and even to the point where he was releasing an album and MTV asked him to do a special, and fans are yelling out songs they want him to sing, but he's singing songs that he thinks they need to hear.
I'm going to do Where do bad folks go when they die?
That's
they
me on
don't
Meat
go
Puppets.
to heaven
That's the
where
second
the
album.
angels fly.
Yeah, well,
go to the lake of fire and fry. No, it's a great song.
It's a fantastic song.
But it also comes across as pretentious because
how's that if I think that would be like Vanilla Ice doing Queen songs. He would never do that.
No, he would,
because he would be exposing himself. And that's kind of what I felt like he was doing in that whole show. He's like, you guys like me? He was listening to this. This is me. And he's singing, he sings songs where he sings Penny Royalty.
Yeah.
Listen to the lyrics of that song. I'm anemic royalty. I'm nobody. What are you sitting here? I drink warm milk and eat cherry flavored antacids. Why are you listening to me? I drink penny royal tea. Like I'm on my time with everyone. And like he almost doesn't understand it. But, and to admit that to people. And then while he's singing it, people are singing along like, yay. And it's weird.
But
which I think was his point.
But the worst part was if he had done all that and he had persevered and he had suffered through all of his personal issues that he was obviously dealing with, I think that ends up becoming an evolution. But then he kills himself, and it almost like pushes all that stuff to the top, and you go, oh, he's such a tortured soul, oh, such a tortured genius, and all these things. And I'm like, I don't know, at some point you have to accept who you are and the destiny that was given to you.
So you're saying he's weak?
I think maybe it is the fact that he's weak that I clearly,
and I would agree.
I lack respect for him for that reason.
Because he was weak.
And more than just the music stuff, he also had kids that he had a responsibility.
Yeah, he had one kid.
Regardless of however he was tortured, it's our responsibility to persevere as adults.
Yeah, and he said in his suicide note that she's better off with him not there.
Yeah, and I don't think
he probably believes that.
And she didn't make any part of that better. She didn't make any part of that better. She was a...
Are you talking about Courtney?
Courtney's a fucking wreck in and of herself.
Well, there's songs about her too.
Yeah,
but those songs about her are his contributing to her, which is another song that everybody sings.
Well, they were bad together.
Like people. I had a friend who thinks Polly is about sex, and it's not. It's about being passed out in a bed on heroin.
Yeah.
And how are you a fan? Of this music and think that it's about like him fucking his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And it's about him when he's on top of her. No, he's passed out on top of her. When he's untying her, he's untying the rubber band that she used for her knee.
And she wants a cracker, and the cracker isn't a proverbial cracker. It's a different kind of
right, exactly. And so, but you have to understand that the majority of his fans didn't understand any of that.
Yeah, because the minute he became popular and mainstream,
he was a Smells Like Teen Spirit guy.
No, they consumed it the way they wanted to consume it.
And every live show, like you took like a Howard Stern, right? Mm-hmm. Howard Stern, do the weather. You have to do the weather, every 10 minutes. And he would talk about like, the slaughtering of babies, and then go, by the way,
it's 80 degrees.
80 degrees, partially cloudy. And he'd do that. Right. So if you watch his live shows, every time he Smells Like Teen Spirit, because he had to do it, contractually had to do it, he fucked it up like on purpose.
Yeah.
Which would be a complete slap in the face to his fans, which is why I understand what you're saying.
I mean, I don't, you know what?
But I also kind of weirdly appreciate it on some strange level. And I agree with you that he was weak.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is my appeal to him is that there are, as people, we're imperfect. We're imperfect.
Of course, yeah.
And we have moments of weakness.
Yeah.
I mean, there's times when we're weak.
But we persevere though, dude.
Yeah.
You and I have moments of weakness. But we
weren't as tortured as him. I don't know if we'd be able to. He had problems, but from everything from stomach to pain medication to the heroin and the whole thing, and that's a typical cycle, unfortunately.
Yeah.
For our generation, there's a huge, heroin epidemic. And so he was dealing with that too. But he was like, he admitted his weakness and wrote his weakness into his songs and then exposed that weakness, which in a strange way makes him strong. No. Gives him, if you're weak.
But it makes him, it definitely
and you
makes
expose that weakness to the world, there's a little bit of courage there too. It may be the wrong type of courage, or whether or not it's maybe not something to aspire to or to look up to.
But there's an awareness.
But there's a level of art there.
He has a amazing amount of. So if what you're saying is true, though, here's where my problem comes in. He has an amazing amount of self-awareness. Like he knows what his pitfalls are. He knows what his challenges are. He knows what his hurdles are, right? And in knowing those things, you know how to overcome them. There's power in that stuff, right? Like being that self-aware to the point that you're talking about. He's writing songs about it. He's pouring his soul out into these things.
Right.
He's aware of his situation.
Oops, sorry.
He's more in control of them than you would think if he's that aware.
You could be aware of something and not have control of it.
I mean,
if you're not,
if
you're not strong enough.
I think maybe if you're. I mean, and that's the thing. I think I lack compassion for people that I view as weak, and maybe that's my problem with him. You know, I don't hate it, and I don't view it as that he's untalented because I've never said that. I've just said it's overplayed tremendously. If I tell this thing, overplayed? Alexa, play grunge, the first song will be
what? Wait, which one?
It'll be "Smells Like Teen Spirit,"
which is why he shot himself.
Hold on, let's see. Let's see what happens. Ready?
Exactly.
Hold on, let's see what happens.
You know, why doesn't it play the Meat Puppets, or why doesn't it play even anything? He opens up that thing. It's like ironic. He opens it up, MTV Unplugged, and he goes. This song's called About a Girl.
Alexa, play grunge music.
This song's called About a Girl. It's off our first album. Most people don't know it.
On Amazon Music.
Well, hold on. Am I wrong? It's Temple of the Dog.
You're wrong.
All right, I'm dead wrong. I'm going to shut the fuck up now.
It's freaking Pearl Jam.
I don't mind stealing bread. It's not. It's Pearl Jam and Soundgarden, but still.
Okay. Well,
and it's also
I forgot about Soundgarden.
And they did Temple.
Same thing.
And they did Temple of the Dog for Mother Love Bone, who was allegedly the official forerunners of grunge before Nirvana.
Yeah.
Was,
Well, no, there were even bands before that.
Yeah, they say that it was Mother Love Bone. But anyways, I don't know. So,
and punk rock bands are always mean to their fans. In like almost like this love way. Like Dave Grohl said in a show at the Paramount, not as a Foo Fighter, as a Nirvana band member, making fun of, excuse me, I'm burping into the mic again, do it every show. You're so making fun of people.
You're so fucking punk.
Yeah, he was at the Paramount. He's like, it was a Halloween night. He goes, only 2% of you in your costumes. He goes, that's pretty lame. He goes, you guys are supposed to be punk rockers. And he made fun of him.
No, well, look at G.G. Allen and the shit that G.G. Allen did when he was a punk. I mean, so punk by its nature. I mean, Nirvana was punk, but it became mainstream. So when you talk about mainstream people, they're not used to that. Like, you're spitting at your your person that you're beloved, and they're spitting back at you, and that's cool. That's how you're engaging them. It's totally different, right? They're like, what the fuck? This guy's fucking spitting on us, and we don't really know why he's spitting on us. And that's the responsibility piece that kills me. I'm not saying it's right, and I get it all. Right. It just bothers me. Okay, I don't know if it bothers me as a parent. Or as a parent?
Well, you don't want your kid doing that to himself.
I couldn't imagine doing that to my kid. Like, my responsibility is to stay here.
I don't think he had a father, right?
But maybe that's why. That's the piece that I don't get. But my dad wasn't around a ton when I was a kid. We're really close now, but it wasn't that way when we were growing up.
Mine's dead.
So
thanks for
Jesus Christ.
But
okay, have a drink. Pour some out for your homies, everybody.
Okay. No, but so now you have 20 minutes.
Okay.
To defend Kevin Smith. Go.
I don't really feel like I have to, though.
I made my piece.
I mean, I don't think
I wanted to set you straight about that album.
My problem is more around the way that, like, I think Nirvana is a little bit overplayed because of a lot of that shit. I think they get a lot more attention because he killed himself, to be honest with you. I think they're very talented. I think I wonder what would happen when it came to Dave Grohl and Kurt Cobain.
Do you like Alice in Chains?
Alice in Chains is actually my grunge band of choice.
Okay.
And then Soundgarden.
He killed himself.
Not in the same way.
What did he do? I forgot.
Well, Lane overdosed and
Okay.
they found him.
All
So he was tortured in a different way.
What about the Joker? What about Heath Ledger?
Heath Ledger, I don't really know what happened there. I don't even know.
He overdosed too.
He did. And they would say, "Oh, it's because he played the Joker, or he's tortured, or whatever." But
yeah, so you think he was?
What about Chris Cornell? He killed himself? No, that's right. He just, I guess he just died, right?
I think so.
Another overdose, probably.
Probably.
So he
yeah.
kind of did kill himself, really.
Right.
I mean,
the
the
90s are fucked up.
Yeah, they're really tortured. And then we're left with Eddie Vedder, who's probably the least talented of all those vocalists, really, when you think about it.
That album, that 10 album,
I love, man.
was fucking unbelievable.
I do, no. And that's the album end to end. It's great, but.
I was just fucking
But dude,
crazy.
Yellow Ledbetter, what the fuck is he singing
I don't
about,
know
dude?
what that every album after that is like, what do you do? Don't call me daughter.
Don't call me daughter.
What the
Not
fuck?
fit to. I didn't really like Mirrorball, and then they had Neil Young came in, and I don't know what happened. And then they kind of became a Grateful Dead band. They were like doing live shows, and people were collecting live Pearl Jam shows, and I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, there you go.
He's the least talented vocalist of the four.
So now that's Billy Corgan would say too, and Billy Corgan was also very, I don't know, very close. I don't want to say they were like, but he was around. Obviously, he was coming up when Nirvana. So it was like Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, they were the same era, same music, similar music, similar genres.
They just came out of the Midwest instead of the Northwest,
right? And so obviously they knew each other, and where was I going with this?
Well, I mean, more than
What were we
obviously.
talking about?
I mean, Billy Corgan wrote
the whole album,
and then most of the Celebrity Skin also, because he was having an affair with Courtney Love,
right?
Because she's a fucking piece of shit.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what allegedly,
Right?
Allegedly, but
what he had said one time in an interview, which I think he's right, and this is part of what bothered Kurt Cobain too. I think is people were going to the shows. People used to go to the shows to hear the band and to hear their music, not to hear one or two or three songs that they hear on the radio. And when their band covered another band, they're like, oh, me. When I'm at a Foo Fighters show and they cover the Ramones, I'm like, yeah. But there are people there that are like, what the fuck is this? I can't, they came to hear,
but that's also,
I came to hear Best of You.
But that's fuck?
I came here. I'm only here to hear Everlong.
But that's also the opportunity, though, because when you sprinkle in between the hits, the other things that you want people to hear, that's the subversive part of music. And
right.
Like, I'm going to fucking put this seed in your brain to say, you know what? There's a whole nother thing. And you, like you said, you experienced it with Nirvana when they were live. You're like, here's this song, and here's the Meat Puppets, and here's the Vaselines, and here's Bowie, right?
Right.
And go check this shit out because it's fucking good.
Right.
And in Kurt Cobain saying, this is fucking good, he's evangelizing how good it is.
Right.
But at the same time, he's like, but I don't want this fucking responsibility. But here's something that's good. And he's not comfortable. I mean,
I think the responsibility is his own music.
And he's not comfortable with it.
No.
So, being in that position of saying, but he's doing it, though, at the same time. It's kind of hypocritical, right?
Yeah.
He's saying, here's something that's
that?
good, but I think
it's dumb. Yeah. Listen to Dumb. Read the lyrics to Dumb.
Okay.
It is exactly what you're saying. He admits it in the whole song. He admits it. I don't know if it's dumb or... He admits it in a couple of songs. All Apologies for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, All Apologies right off the bat. Yeah, that seems to say a lot of things.
I think he's apologizing to people in that song. Yeah, I really do.
He's probably apologizing for shit that he knows that's going to happen. Right. That he's like, this is the road that I'm on. Right. I don't have any. There's no way fucking out of this. Right. It's just that it all just bothers me. I don't know if it's just my mentality about things. I don't know. I can't sympathize with that frame of mind. Maybe?
I can't think of the name of the song now. I think I'm better than you. So what do I do? What song is that?
I'm not sure. Yeah. But no, to answer your question, Alice in Chains. I mean, I think
great band.
I think Lane is tormented in a whole different way, and you get it. And then when you watch their Unplugged, what you see is Jerry Cantrell's there, and you realize that Jerry Cantrell really is Lane is the voice of the band, but Jerry is he wrote the songs, he works on the orchestration pieces and the instrumental pieces, and Lane is there to be the voice, and that torment comes out through his voice and in his performance. But Jerry is the brains behind that band, you know?
Right. Yeah, okay. But like now, we calling it weakness, but how weak are you if it's difficult to expose yourself like that?
No.
So how can you be simultaneously courageous and weak? And I think that that's what draws me to these artists.
Yeah.
Is that that could step up and literally get naked on stage. I am weak. I am, this is what I'm feeling, and it's terrible. I think I'm better than you. What do I do? Mm. And then you listen to the lyrics from these bands, and you're like, wow, to say this stuff. Like, I know, like, I've written, like, say a short story and had, like, a friend or a family member read it and think that one of the characters is them and being like, what is this? And get, like, almost a million questions. And you go, I'm not giving you anything to read anymore. Imagine if you're putting something out to the world and you're just admitting stuff. Like, it's just, it's tough. And it's kind of like, almost like saying, it gives me comfort in a weird way that when you're feeling weak, or you have moments of weakness, or you're thinking something you shouldn't, or you're doing this other thing, that there was somebody else that felt that way. And there were many others, actually, but you could think of the ones that, and that kind of, the ones that, that's what I'm looking for, express that to you and to the world in words that, that you'll listen to a lyric and go, yeah, that's the way I feel. I felt that way, and it sucks to feel that way. And I wasn't the only one who felt that way. And this guy felt that way too. He went and killed himself. Yeah. And it's not, I'm not even talking beyond Kurt Cobain, but just other people, other artists, there's artists that didn't kill themselves, that exposed themselves that way. But for some reason, those that were truly tortured, that were truly felt that weakness and felt that pain, and then just wrote it and sang it and screamed it on stage, and just to millions of people who weren't understanding, but they felt the need to anyway. And allowed us to listen in on it and to absorb it and to internalize it and just be like, all right, well, you can, like I said, you can connect with it. And I think that's where the power comes from. And that's why, I had an argument with a friend of mine. He was talking about U2. And the importance of U2, and I said I brought up the importance of Nirvana, and I said they're one of the most important bands, I think, in a long time. There are many important bands, but Nirvana is one of them. And the suicide came up, and then I said something like, which probably didn't come out right, I was trying to say something and maybe didn't communicate it properly, but what I said was to the effect, he was keep saying a lot of things you're saying, like wham, 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 me, like, and all this stuff. And I said, yeah, but he killed himself. And then they was like, so? And I said, so that wasn't an act. Those were legitimate feelings. And that's when he was like, oh, you lost me. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? And he was just like, the conversation ended. I was like, I don't want to get pissed off. And we stopped talking about it. But to me, I didn't want, he's even tell me it's like legitimizes his music that he killed himself. And I think my response is, yeah, it did legitimize his music. And how many artists can you say that wrote about all this pain actually experienced that pain? Did Justin Timberlake experience the pains he sings about?
But Justin Timberlake doesn't write about pain, though. He doesn't, though. So you're comparing the two. So here's my problem with that.
Pain.
I agree with everything you said, though.
What's her name?
I agree with everything.
She sings about pain, and I think she actually experiences pain, and she may kill herself.
Who?
Fuck's her name?
God, I hope so. Who?
No, what the hell's her name? The heavyset girl. Beautiful voice. Wonderful songs.
Oh, Adele.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. So
Amy Winehouse.
She did. But here's my problem with that. I think you're right. You hit everything on the head. You said, here's Kurt, and he's personifying everybody. And everybody.
Well, yeah, part of it.
But everybody that's listening going, fuck yeah, dude. I'm there with you, dude. I know how you feel. And then he's like, bam. And you're like, holy fuck. I'm like, I don't
know how you feel.
Is that what I have to do? And you're like, I'm confused. Like, cause you're like, well,
that's kind of what happened to me.
You're my voice. And all of a sudden you're like,
gone.
Right. Yeah. And you're like, and you did it yourself.
Betrayed.
Yeah, you're right. And you feel, and you have all these feelings because you're like, yeah, absolutely. Nirvana changed my life. I listened to a ton of classic rock and country.
What are you talking about?
But no, it did. And then, but
how could a band change your life and then you not like it?
But then I have all these conflicted feelings.
I
and it's conflicted feelings because I hear the songs and I go, and I start listening to
some of the songs.
No, I hear the songs, dude. I hear the songs and I go, God damn. And then the conflicted feeling comes out and it fucks it up every time. I feel the feeling of like this guy quit on me. Here's a guy who understood.
That's selfish.
But so was what he did though.
Yes,
it absolutely was selfish.
Yes,
so that's
also part of it.
It's self-fulfilling though.
Yeah.
So here I am feeling this feeling. I'm like, this fucking guy
gets
good
stuff. This is good stuff.
This guy feels what I feel, right?
Right.
He gets me. He understands me.
Or it's terrible stuff. Either this is really good or really bad.
I don't care who.
Me neither.
I don't care if it's good or bad. But he understands me. He understands me. And then bam. I'm like, what the fuck? So am I supposed to do that?
No. Well,
because I feel how he feels though.
And sadly,
and some people did, yeah.
Sadly, suicides went up big time after he killed himself.
And I'm like, what the so
this is what happened with me.
And I don't think he didn't obviously care about that because he was so tortured.
I don't know how when I first listened to him to that band, I discovered them like a lot of people did. Never mind. When that album came out, it's like, oh shit. And I discovered them because they smelled like Team Spirit. And a lot of people, took it from there to a couple other songs that ended up on the radio, and that was the songs that they listened to. Mm-hmm. I went deeper and just listened to their entire Nevermind album, and then I listened to, which you'd be surprised, a lot of that album was not on the radio. Though if you listen to any of those songs now, you're like, oh, I heard this a million times. You actually didn't. You heard a lot of it. You probably heard half of the album a million times, but the other half you probably didn't hear. Yeah. Stay Away was never on the album. It was never on the radio. Stay Away! It was just screaming for a minute and a half. Yeah. It was not on, Territorial Pissings. Jeez, what album is that? I don't remember.
That's also Nevermind. It might be Nevermind, yeah. Yeah,
also not on the radio. But anyway, so you those songs, so then you're like, all right, I like this band. And then I went and looked at Bleach, and Bleach had a very different sound. It took a little while for me to get into, but I kind of got into it.
And Bleach was what I heard first.
You heard Bleach before Nevermind?
There's a song on Bleach that I heard absolutely first.
I love School on Bleach.
And if you wouldn't mind, I would like to bleed. You ever heard that song?
Yes.
That's the first song I heard. And my friend, because my friend was heavy into the Ramones and heavy into punk, and then he played. Let me see what this is called. Well, About a Girl is actually on Bleach.
That's the first song he sings on the MTV Unplugged. And he says a lot of people don't know the song, and then he plays the song, and then you hear people applauding like, "Oh, I know the song," and no, you don't know the song. Yes, is that Blue?
Blue, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. But we're gonna get kicked off of YouTube for this, but who cares?
We'll only play like a couple seconds of it.
And that's not Dave Grohl on drums.
It's not, yeah, no.
It's Chad, what's his name? I forget his last name.
But that was the first Nirvana song I heard was Blue.
Okay.
Because my friend was heavy into punk and Ramones and all that shit. And he was like, "Oh, you gotta hear this fucking song." And it was before Nevermind blew up. And he's like, "You gotta check this song
But
out."
how would the Ramones are as popular as the Ramones became, how would they have handled it if they were that popular when they were, because they became popular way after they fucking
Yeah,
playing.
because they were, a lot of bands lent to the Ramones the same way. And they were
right,
like,
exactly.
Ramones,
So how would Johnny Ramone have handled the fame that Kurt Cobain had?
Oh no, they
he would. Do you think he would?
They were all completely. It's punk.
Right.
Punk is inherently antisocial.
Right.
But grunge was a different movement. But also inherently,
it was a twist on the sound.
Yeah, it was the same. It was punk-ish, but it was also inherently antisocial, you know?
Yeah.
But then you listen to the Ramones, though. And you saw the new Spider-Man movie, right?
Yeah, yes.
Hey, little girl, I want to be a boyfriend. which is a very poppy sound to it, you know? And the Ramones had that quality, that poppy beach rock sound.
Surf.
Yeah.
A surf punk, a surf rock, or whatever. Yeah. You know,
but they also sang about teenage lobotomy, so it's a whole different fucking thing. Yeah, fucking kill my mind. I don't fucking care. Numb me, make me feel nothing. Yes. It's all the same punk vibe, antisocial, non-establishment, discetarianism.
Right, and the times. Art always reflects the time. You talking
about Morris Day in the time?
Art always reflects the time. What?
It does. No, it does, because we're talking about Gen X and the whole, like, fuck the world, everything's terrible, we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
It's representation
Cold War,
of
the whole, I mean, we were, so, anyway, that's my thoughts on him. So you don't have anything to say about Kevin Smith to defend?
No, I don't. I don't feel like I have to. He's good to his fans, and he's very entertaining.
I just want to say,
and I think your hatred of him is like
I don't hate him. I do that to rib you.
Well, no, and I'm going to tell you right now.
I think he's as pretentious or more pretentious than Kurt Cobain is.
Well, so and
that's my opinion.
And that's become our shtick then, because the Kurt Cobain thing has almost become a. I like to have like bits that I'm like I told you I did it with my kids with like we watched the whole like series of unfortunate events, and my kids are like, "Oh my god, this guy is this guy," and I was like, "No, he's not." And I went like through 4 seasons of the show as a bit to say, "That's not him." Count Olaf is a handsome guy, or Count Olaf has like long hair, or and I fuck with my kids.
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about right now, dude.
You never heard of a series of unfortunate events?
Yes.
And
that's a Netflix series.
Yeah, and there's a character in it called Count Olaf. He's the bad guy.
I tried to watch it with my wife. I made it through 3/4 of the first episode.
With your wife? You should watch it with your kids. It's almost like a kid's show, almost.
I might be thinking of something else.
No, and it's what's his name? Doogie Howser. Doogie Howser is the main character.
Yes, that's the reason why we wanted to try it out.
No, he's very talented, and he's like a master of disguise. And my whole thing, I was fucking with my kids, was like, "Oh, that's not Count Olaf. That's somebody else." And he disguises himself. So I was fucking with my kids for like 4 years. I fucked with my kids for 4 years, dude.
Okay.
And then I was like, at the end of it. It ended, and I turned to my 5-year-old. I turned to my 5-year-old, and I go, "So you're telling me the whole time that was Count Olaf?" He's like, "Yeah, Dad." I'm like, "Oh my god,
I'm not following any of this."
Yeah, no, it's weird. It's just my shtick. So half of my Kurt Cobain shtick with you is fucking with you.
All right. Well, I'm a little bit of me is fucking with you too, but
Kevin Smith is still awesome.
Let me just get,
just so you know, Kevin Smith is awesome.
let me just get it out of the way. Dogma is a great movie.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Mallrats. Clerks is a great movie.
Clerks is amazing. Chasing Amy is good.
Chasing Amy's okay. Okay. But Jane Silent Bob Strike Back. Okay, that's a bit of a money grab. It's all right.
But it's also like half Kevin Smith.
It was better than every Seth Rogen movie.
But it's half Kevin Smith and half Quentin Tarantino, though. It's kind of like Star Wars.
A little bit, yeah. There's some homages.
Yeah, and I embrace that
comic book. Look, I read comic books. Everybody, all right. You're cool. Whatever. You're like the cool nerd in the class, but.
But you know what I see though. Here's what I see though, Nick.
You turn a little colors. Yeah.
You kind of identify with Kevin Smith and Kurt Cobain. You're like,
I don't know if I identify.
I think you do though. I think you.
How?
And I feel like Kevin Smith is like a lot like me, and I identify with him, and so like. Okay. In hearing his voice, I kind of hear myself talk about things.
Okay. Well, I don't feel that way about Kurt Cobain at all.
You don't? No. But you admire him.
I admire his music immensely. Immensely.
No, I mean, and you know what I think? I think the one thing that we all agree upon, whether it's film or music or physical art, whether it's sculpture or paintings or whatever, it's all subjective. And I think that all discussion around it is good, whether it's positive or negative, because I think art invokes a emotional response, right? No matter what kind of art it is. I watch that movie. Oh, it's a fucking piece of shit. I'm like, okay, what if the director wanted you to feel like this is a fucking piece of shit, right? Or if somebody wanted you to be angry at a song that somebody wrote, or that your eyes were assaulted by a painting that somebody did, I mean, I think all those things are good.
I could do a Pollock with my eyes closed.
I could do a Pollock too. Give me 15 minutes in like a penthouse. I could do
15 minutes in a penthouse and like 30 tubes of paint.
Oh my God. No, I don't need paint.
I only need a fan.
I got my own paint.
I just throw. How many colors? Well, I need a lot of colors.
You could.
I need just a fan, like a high-powered fan, and a bunch of tubes of paint.
Yeah. And 40 quarts.
And no one who's going to yell at me about the mess I'm about to make.
About jism too. You can.
And that. But anyway. I don't want to get into the Pollock.
Anyway, so all
right, well, when are we going to do our Rocky movie? I watched Last Jedi again.
Again, really? I haven't. So now you've officially watched it probably more than I have collectively watched it.
Yeah, and I watched it and tried to be objective. Mm-hmm. And I see what Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Johnson.
What is it? Johnson?
Ryan?
It's Ryan.
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 Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, which bothers me right off the bat.
He puts an I instead of a Y.
Well, yeah. It's not his fault. It's fucking parents' fault.
It's his parents' fault. Yeah. Well, you don't know. He might have. So
did you hear
his stage name?
I wanted to bring this up. Did you hear that Kathleen Kennedy is not the lead for Star Wars and Disney anymore? She's been removed. She's been removed.
Okay, by who?
By a woman who is J.J. Abrams' acolyte, I guess.
Okay.
More like associated with him and things than...
That was a PR move because everyone hated her.
It might have been, yeah.
Everyone hated her.
But I mean, corporations will make sacrifices
for their to their listening to their customers a little bit.
But it's a different person heading everything.
Well, anyway, I saw what he was getting at.
Mm-hmm.
And there are moments where I see what he's trying to do, and he's doing it well.
Yeah.
He's a good director. This is what I got out of Last Jedi. Mm-hmm. Rian Johnson is an excellent director who has no fucking clue what Star Wars is about.
It's funny that you listen to
That's what I got out of it.
I was listening to a couple of podcasts where they talked a lot about this idea of, do you have to be a like gigantic Star Wars fan to direct a Star Wars movie?
Well, that was you listening to our episode.
No,
our last episode was about exactly.
It was actually that. Rebel Force Radio.
Fuck Rebel Force Radio.
What the fuck? And no, we love her. We love Jimmy Mack.
I'm only kidding.
We love Jason. No, stop. We love Rebel Force Radio.
I'm messing around. I'm just saying.
Fuck Rebel Force Radio.
We also. I'm saying we did that.
No, we did, but they talked about this whole idea of that regardless of what we feel like we need, that it seems like Disney has hired people that aren't necessarily historically fans of Star Wars to direct Star Wars stuff. And the idea would be...
That's a mistake, isn't it?
Well, it might be, but you would say you bring in new meat to bring a different perspective on things that are archaic, right?
Well, then just make a different fucking story.
Well, you're right.
If
I'm totally
if you
fine.
don't like
make
the
your
story,
own
make your own.
No, I'm cool with that.
Don't take someone else's story. Don't take another story. And it's not necessarily, when I was listening to our last episode, we were talking about George Lucas. It's not George Lucas's story anymore.
No, it's
ours.
No, he sold it.
No, it's ours.
It was ours the minute that we saw it. But I think that's the problem too, is that if you listen to the fanboys, you'll never make the fanboys happy because everybody has a different take on what they think should have happened.
No, yes, and no. I agree with you. There are a million people who would have different outcomes that they would have liked to have seen and all this stuff. Yes. Mm-hmm. That's all subjective. What I'm saying is that you can't break the characters themselves.
Without...
You could change this. You could have a whole new story, as long as the characters act like who they are.
Well, and
over the past
it's
6
funny.
freaking movies.
I had this conversation with somebody, and I said, I don't have any problem with The Last Jedi, but I feel like it was lazy storytelling because while I don't disagree that the characters could be where they were, I don't think they did the work to put them where they were. And that's my problem with The Last Jedi. And I've never... I mean, I'm going to have to...
Too many people were just not their characters in that movie. Too many people were just not... Now, obviously, there were new characters, and those characters could be whoever they need to be. Mm-hmm. After watching it a second time, there are a lot of people who are pissed off about Finn and...
Rose.
Rose, thank you.
Yeah.
Can think of her name. And I'm not.
No, you're okay with Finn and Rose.
Yeah.
On the gambling planet.
On the what?
On the gambling planet.
Am I okay with them on the gambling
They're
planet?
In Vegas,
right?
Basically.
Yes. What about it?
Well, you're okay with that. Or what are you okay with Finn and Rose?
Well, people said that whole storyline didn't belong in the movie.
It didn't really.
And I don't necessarily agree.
But what did that?
I think it was
part of the story.
There was some touching parts to that story. Actually,
there might have been, but they went to the gambling world to meet a slicer that was going to get into the computers, but the slicer ended up turning on them so that they could fight Captain Phasma, and that was the whole point of that storyline, right?
So that they could fight Captain. No, they were double crossed. They were double crossed essentially.
Yeah, but that makes that whole part of the story completely bullshit. Like it's
what that
they got double crossed.
No, he was deserting.
Who?
He was
Finn. Yeah,
splitting.
and Rose stopped him.
So
because she said you have a greater responsibility. This sounds like a Kurt Cobain conversation.
Her sister died.
Like Kurt Cobain's going to blow his brains out.
Her sister died. Her sister died.
Sacrificed her life in order to
selflessly.
Yeah.
And she was faced with the deserter, who's the opposite.
Well, who was her ideal for the rebellion,
and who like meeting your hero type of thing.
Yeah,
which I thought was like, wow. And
but he's Kurt Cobain. He's the flawed hero.
I don't know. Forget about Kurt Cobain for a second.
No, but he is though.
You meet your hero and find out that he's an asshole type of thing. And I thought
sounds familiar.
That's like, oh, well, like, wow, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. And he was doing something that she didn't expect. And the way that relationship kind of evolves, I think was more interesting than Luke Skywalker.
Really?
The whole fucking movie.
I
Because
don't.
Luke Skywalker wasn't Luke Skywalker.
No, I don't disagree with you because he takes the lightsaber and he goes and he throws it and you're like, it's almost like a joke and you're like, did that really happen? And you're like, that.
Oh, when he
weird.
tosses it.
Yeah, he's like, he throws it over his shoulder and you're like, that's definitely weird, like beyond any level of weird.
Right. I and even that, like I said, I tried to give him benefit of doubt. I tried to watch it with a fresh mind, and I was like, okay, he's rejecting the Jedi at some level. But it wasn't explained enough.
But
why.
that was his. You mean when she presented his father's lightsaber to him, he just threw it over his shoulder,
right? Well,
regardless of everything,
he was
else.
rejecting the Jedi in that scene.
No, and I see what he was trying.
And if that thread, that's what I said. What I understood what Rian Johnson was trying to do is that thread was Luke Skywalker rejecting the Jedi and the idea of the Jedi throughout the entire film. And then comes back around on the end of the movie to say that I'm not the last Jedi, and all everything, that whole speech he gives.
Yeah,
and that's the kind of the circle of that. But there's no. It was weak. There was no. Because
they were trying to make Luke Skywalker like Yoda in Empire.
Right.
That's what they were trying to do.
He was where he didn't want to.
But even then, but that's the funny thing about it. So what they tried to do with Luke, they did with Yoda. But they were like, we met Yoda before we knew why Yoda was there. But if you look at it, Yoda was where he was in Empire for pretty lame reasons too. He got his ass kicked.
Oh,
fucking ran away.
He ran away.
The
end of Phantom Menace.
He ran away.
I was like, wait, I still don't understand why he left.
Yeah. He's like, I still
understand.
In exile.
He didn't even get his ass kicked.
In exile, I must go.
Right. He didn't even get his ass kicked.
Self-proclaimed exile.
He did not even get his ass kicked.
The greatest Jedi in the universe.
Said in exile I must go.
I must go.
For no reason.
For no reason, yeah.
Right.
Because Palpatine threw the Senate at him.
But now let me tell you this. If I had seen that movie before I saw Empire, I would have been like, I would have had zero respect.
You would have felt the same way.
Right. Yeah. I had respect for Yoda in Empire because
so they tried
it was part of his thing.
And that's what problem
Even the training where she senses a cold place.
Yeah.
The same exact thing.
It's identical.
It's identical.
Yeah.
Because
even Luke kind of doesn't. Do you sense that? That's the Force. Do you feel that? And he's making the thing, which is funny, funny.
Yes, I
but
like
he's like
that scene.
He's fucking with her.
He's fucking
Yoda
with the way Yoda was fucking with him.
But the problem is, Luke Skywalker before that, and you go, that's not Luke Skywalker. If you knew Yoda before that, you would say,
well, no, Luke Skywalker would do that with the feather.
Maybe.
I think so.
Maybe.
I thought that was one of the few times he was in character.
Yeah, more than anything else. But you would say the same thing about Yoda. You're like, in Empire, he's like, Yoda's like playing the idiot when he first meets Luke. Oh, yes, great Jedi are you? All that fucking horseshit. It's the same fucking thing that he's doing. Throwing the lightsaber. I'm a clown. I'm not a Jedi. Oh, don't fucking look at me like I'm going to have all the answers. Oh, I'm going to test you, And then
he was rejecting the Jedi for some reason.
Well, there's
which is never disclosed.
Well, and I'll tell you right now,
and that's why I'm trying to reserve a little bit, because I'm wondering if it's disclosed in the next movie, which was my exact problem with Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Is that it's not a movie in itself. It's just not.
It's not.
No, it doesn't have a beginning, middle, and end.
It doesn't?
No. It doesn't follow any story arc whatsoever. It makes no sense as a movie. The same way Last Jedi makes no.
Maybe that's why I like it and Pulp Fiction so much, because neither one of them really makes sense.
Oh, Pulp Fiction, of course it does.
But no, it doesn't. It's completely flipped. It's flipped around from a chronological perspective, which is
chronologically, but it's in one movie.
Yes, it is one movie.
Yes. Not three.
But I don't know. I think Empire is the same movie. There is a beginning, middle, and end. The rebels are on Hoth. They get attacked. They
Right.
evacuate. Luke
Right.
goes to Dagobah.
Right.
Han and Leia run. They get captured by Darth Vader,
Right.
which draws Luke to them. That's arc number 2. And arc number 3 is
What's arc number 1?
Arc number 1 is the rebels are.
We're doing the
attacked on
Star
Hoth.
Wars show.
We are. No,
we
are.
keep doing
The problem
this.
is we've done this. We've done the Star Wars show and the Rocky show 3
Like,
shows. In a
3
row.
fucking
Yeah,
shows.
which is
All right,
what
we're
my
gonna
brother-in-law
stop.
said.
Listen, all right, so sorry.
And,
All right.
and you want to talk
Let's
about?
do. You want to do
talk
Rocky
about-
next show and then Star Wars after that?
Well, we have
Because
to
I have to
watch-
go to the bathroom.
Okay. Right now?
Yeah,
Or bathroom or Rocky?
bathroom.
What
No,
are we
next
doing?
show is going to be Rocky. Not this show. Next show is going to be a
Have you
role-playing
watched
game.
Endgame yet?
No.
But you watched
But I
the
watched Far From
Spider-Man.
Home,
Oh,
yes.
Jesus. So you know all the spoilers.
Yes. That was the first time I've ever been to a movie that spoiled another movie.
I've actually been at Endgame where they spoiled. I was at Endgame and they had a preview for Spider-Man which spoiled Endgame. And I told my brother-in-law, "Put your fingers in your ears."
great
It's like,
is that?
dude, I don't even know. But okay,
You know what? You can close it up. Doomsday Doopy Doo and all that stuff.
Doomsday Doopy Doo.
When you're done, hit that stop.
I'm going to hit the stop button. But in the meantime, I'm going to talk to you guys and tell you what I feel about Kurt Cobain.
Just don't do that.
All right, go ahead and go pee. So Kurt Cobain, let me tell you a few things about this guy. Kurt Cobain was a poser and a punk. Anyways, so follow us on doomsdaydoopydoo.com. You can email us. All of our shit is out there. At CJ Scannell is my Twitter. Not that anybody's following it, or not that I'm doing anything on it, but we certainly appreciate all of our listeners. And wasabi peas bitches.